Video game The Finals. We all love to play for the sick gameplay, tantalising destruction, and badass movement, but we all fail to realise just how deep the story below this goes. Welcome to the Meats Place, the land where the living lie, aka real life. The world takes place somewhere in the 2100s, where hyper-capitalism has run its course on humanity, with rampant advertising and mega corporations running the scene, turning the real world to shit. The main sort of universe, like the world within that, sort of runs sort of like the cyberpunk universe, where like big companies and stuff run everything, like money's everything, there's not equal things, it's just all about the corporate people. And from this, a wide virtual world is born. A world which is much better than the meat space, hence the name. But let's dial it back a bit to offer a more in-depth explanation. During or before 1982, the company Multico was founded. Over time, this company grew to be a major player in the corporate world, becoming something of a conglomerate. And by 2078, a new game show has been announced, known as The Finals. This game show was created by a mysterious entity known only as the founder. And during this time, the company Multico started training talent in the early talent program, also known as ETP for short. This was for them to make some cash with contestants, I would assume. Anyway, a while later, Multico would end up purchasing the Finals themselves, owning it and commercialising it even further, introducing our commentators, Scotty and June, and also introducing sponsors. Speaking of sponsors, let's describe all of them because they're quite important to the story. We'll start off with Ospuz. The CEO is Sofia Petronale. They sell a suspicious energy drink with slogans like "Who needs water?" And that suspicion. Their beverage is said to remove the need for sleep entirely. We don't need to sleep anymore, which is frankly untrue, I am very sure, but you know, we'll see what they're trying to say. With it packing the legal limit of performance-enhancing drugs, so think of it essentially as a monster combined with cocaine. Something known as tiger juice. With some side effects including, let's see here, momentary disassociation, okay, and intense colour saturation. Now that doesn't seem quite normal to me, but you know, that seems like hallucinogenic. And you know, we'll roll the ad for this company because it's in game, you'll see that this is not a normal drink, especially from this advert. Our next one is Isul Tea. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're a Korean clothing line. They say they're the ones who create virtual copies of the clothing trends in real life. Well known for their cyan colouring on clothing, and some of their slogans include "Be anybody and everybody" and "Transcending the realities." Our next one is Volpe. Volpe is Italian for fox, which matches their logo. Their CEO is known as Mackenzie Lapis, who is a renowned heavyweight boxer, and gained her majority stake in the company by force of will and winning a very intense match. She runs the company with a strong sense of both confidence and ambition. Starting as a small sports brand and after being invested in by Multico, they eventually grew to what they are now, selling equipment and training programs. Holtow is our next one. It's an insurance company led by Quembe Rutil. They cover over digital assets, profiting off something you never truly owned, and also cover for both sun and alien invasion insurance. Profiting off the mass hysteria, and through this, sort of showing just how mental people are in this world and like how much like private business just overstepping their boundaries has like made people start to kind of lose sense of their inner mind, and materialism's like increase in this universe. It's very fucked over. Our next one is VAIIYA, which I believe is pronounced Vaya, but you know, I'm not 100% sure. Vaya is the only company whose CEO is a machine who makes decisions through artificial intelligence. To our knowledge, they act as a private security force, specifically in the digital world. They're very dangerous though, because it's a private security force run by an AI, which might not like humans very much, we don't know. We'll see what happens in the story, I suppose. Enigmo is our next one. The CEO is known as Ichikawa Natsume. They're in charge of communications, also having something known as a reality shield, which is an algorithm that filters undesirable comments from reaching viewers. Essentially, although they don't say it is, it's mass surveillance and censorship, trying to stop people from expressing their thoughts and freedoms within this free world we're supposed to be living in, but apparently not here. And it's quite scary because, yeah, never know, that could be the future we live in. Our next one is Dasun. Dasun is in charge of the power grid, controlling everything in both meat space and the digital world, showing a worrying amount of corporate control over the electricity people need to survive to an extent. Our next one is Alpha Acta. It is run by Junior McJohnson. Yes, that is his name, Junior McJohnson. It's pretty shocking, right though? You know, it's a pretty diabolical name. But anyways, they're a family-owned security force, which like are quite dead on their security. That's like their whole thing, and yeah. Multico is also a sponsor, we've already talked to them, but as a fun fact, in the 1980s they developed an OS known as Muco DOS. which is a command line interface, which is essentially a method of interacting with the OS or operating system. However, the command line interface resembles the Commodore Amigas, which is a cool wee reference. Not that I know what that is, but you know, the wiki said this was pretty cool. Iwata, for this sponsor, there isn't much info available, however, they seem to have a part in cosmetics and things of the sort. Our penultimate sponsor, which is called Trentilla, operates in the agricultural sector. They create a fruit matter, which already sounds quite disturbing, but even worse, the fruit matter is known as tiger fruit, which contributes to Osmosis' sketchy beverage tiger juice. The CEO is called Anna Del Mar. And last but not least is Cometa, debuting in Season 11, they sell luxury space habitats, which to my understanding is fancy talk for housing and land. That's us done with sponsors. Sorry if it took quite long. It's definitely very important to the story, and they're kind of the main players in the story, so they're quite very relevant, especially starting off. We've only got a wee bit more lore to cover left, so let's go. CNS is a hacker group who sought to topple the finals by disrupting and hijacking the games. They've said to the audience, seek truth beyond the walls. Their motivations are unclear, although I don't know if they're that unclear because I have a feeling some people aren't too keen in this corporate hellscape that these people live in, so maybe they'll try to fight back against that. That's just a fan theory, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. And finally, Merciless Marcel. Not really sure who this guy is, but he's an important figure in Multico, seemingly contributing to the fight against CNS, which is the hackers we're just talking about, which is quite interesting. So yeah, I'd like to give a special thanks to the Finals Wiki for helping me source so much information. Really, really helpful. Great people, whoever made that. Thank you very much. I will potentially make a part 2 going into more depth and some specifics, so if you want that, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Also, this is a big thing. The script for this video deleted randomly off Word halfway through. Yeah, I know, right? Quite shocking, but yeah, it was a pain in the fucking ass to get that shit fixed. But it'd be much appreciated if you comment, if you want to like and subscribe for that, because that shit was a pain in the ass to fix, but I had to redo the whole fucking thing. It took fucking ages. Well anyways, in case I don't see you, good evening, good afternoon and good night, or whatever it is they say in the Truman Show.